I was always brought under the assumption that CNBC was a prestigious news outlet, that the people that they bring on, especially for their CNBC Make It series, were people that basically pulled themselves out from nothing and made something of themselves. And then we get this person.
UMass Amherst, and I studied journalism and social thought and political economy. I dropped journalism, and I don't actually have my degree yet. I'm one class short, but that class costs $1,000, so I'm just waiting until I have some money.
So let me get this straight. You went to school, took on a mountain of debt, and now you're refusing to pay it back. And on top of all this, again, I haven't been in the job market for a very long time, so let me know down in the comments down below. But even if you decide to finish that journalism thing, which, look at how CNN Plus turned out, I don't know what kind of job you can get with the other social economy, whatever they called it. I don't even remember anymore. And this is also considering that people have no clue that we're headed for a recession, or what that even means for that matter.
Story Young estimates that she took out around $87,000 in a mix of private and federal loans to pay for college.
When you're 17 and you think of $20,000, if you didn't grow up in money, you don't even know what that means. Like, how big is that? I don't know. I can't even think about it. Then the next year, 20,000 more. Then the next year, 20,000 more.
All right, let's try that for a quick moment. I'm 17. What's $20,000? Oh, that's 20,000. What's that with the next year? Oh, it's 40,000. What's that with another year? Oh, that's 60,000. Now, I realize this isn't a basic math class, and I don't know what world she comes from to where the assumption is essentially you have to be born into money to be good with money or even understand what $20,000 is. Look at Warren Buffett. That dude was not born into money, and yet he's the richest man on earth. And it's actually the opposite, I would say, that those who are born into money don't understand what $20,000 is because they spend it like it's nothing. They don't earn none of that money, so they don't really appreciate what it takes to actually earn that money.
That's a lot to think about, and it started to get really big.
Maxed out on her loan options and unable to pay tuition, Young dropped out of college around 10 years ago. Soon after, she defaulted on a $19,000 private loan that was only recently discharged off her credit. Her father was forced to repay a portion of the loans that he co-signed for, and she still has about $67,000 in loans outstanding.
My credit score is so bad that at 30 years old, I can't get a $3,000 loan for a used car at anything less than a 13% interest rate. That is the best option that I have.
Wow, I am so shocked that you cannot get a loan after outright admitting that you refuse to pay back the lender. The real question is, why would we loan you $3,000 when we couldn't trust you with $20,000? And on top of all this, where you couldn't even find $1,000 in the last 10 years to finish your degree?
I don't qualify for credit cards. I've never had one. I don't know how to build my credit.
Okay, so I can understand a little bit about not knowing how to build credit. And a little quick story time here. When I was 18, my mom gave me a credit card, and it had my name on it. So she said that, I signed up for a credit card for you. It's yours. Be responsible with it, blah, blah, all that sort of stuff, right? For 7 years, I never carried too big of a balance, and I always paid it off immediately. Only to find out after those 7 years that I was a credit ghost because I needed to utilize some credit. I was a credit ghost. I had 0 credit score. And I was like, how's this possible? I've been paying off this credit card for 7 years and so forth. I found out that card wasn't actually under my name. It was actually an extension card by my mother, which didn't tell me that. And I was inadvertently building up her credit score. But thankfully, after being a little pissed about that, thankfully afterwards, I was also in an environment where I was able to essentially utilize, I got basically a $500 credit card from Capital One, the secured credit card. And I was also doing drop shipping at the time where essentially I had a high credit utilization, but I was also paying it off almost immediately. And that essentially started giving me a credit score, to which I signed up for more credit cards. And then I started building, same thing after again and again, utilize the credit, pay it off immediately, utilize and pay it off immediately. And it eventually led me to about a 700 plus credit score. I think I hit 800, depending on which agency you go to, whatever, right? But essentially that's the way I learned how to build credit.
Getting housing is extremely difficult because any rental company, they require a credit check, and my debt to income ratio is obscene.
So you say your debt to income ratio is high, but you're not paying off any of your loans. I'm kind of disappointed in CNBC's Make It because the level of scrutiny that they gave Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin, everybody else with the vetting of their income statements, income sources, tax statements, et cetera, they gave their budgets and everything the utmost type of scrutiny. And yet I have not seen a single budget posted by this person.
The income-driven repayment plans, and 3 of them are based on a definition of discretionary income, where your adjusted gross income is, if it's less than 150% of the poverty line, your monthly payment will be 0. And that's perfectly legal. You're not violating any laws. You're not defaulting on your loans. It's just that because you're low income, you don't have to make payments on the loan. So 0 monthly payments actually count as payments. And after 20 or 25 years, the remaining debt will be forgiven. Now that is taxable under current law.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, let's think of this to the logical conclusion. The timing's probably a little off, and I'm making a lot of assumptions here because I don't know what our actual budget is, what our income and so forth. Thank you, CNBC's Make It, for your highly scrutinous journalism. But Story has $67,000 left in her debt at the current moment. And let's give her the most favorable rate at 2.29%. So 67,000, if I can get this working, so 67,000 times 0.0229%. So this is $1,500 a year. Times 20 years is about $30,000 plus 67,000. Her initial principal is $97,000. So this will get charged off. However, like the guy said, when this gets charged off, it's viewed as income in the eyes of the IRS, the most well-funded three-letter agency in the entirety of the USA. Good luck trying to dodge payments on those because they'll lock you up. So $97,000. So this will also, because it's viewed as income, push you up in your income brackets. So you'll be somewhere around here, something like that, whatever, right? Which, again, using a federal tax income calculator, will bring you to about $14,000.
If your debt is larger than your starting salary, you'll most likely need to use an extended income-based payment plan. What these do is they stretch out the term of the loan to reduce your monthly payment, but that means you're going to be paying more in interest over the life of the loan. And you're also going to be in debt longer. And these typically end up with a 20, 25, or even 30-year repayment term, which means you're going to still be repaying your own student loans by the time your children go to college.
You know what's funny? This guy's not wrong, and this could also be applied to other types of loans, such as, I don't know, home refinancing. But the person who's always pitching about home refinancing never explains the consequences and only plagiarizes the positive feels because that's what you want to hear. You know who I'm talking about. Nothing is truly free, and the middle part of this video I kind of skipped because it was an organization calling for 100% student loan forgiveness, but obviously they didn't want to stop there. They wanted 100% medical, 100% credit card, basically any form of debt removed. Now, the reason why this won't work, and again, these are consequences they don't outline, the world runs on debt. The reason why you're able to get that car right now so you can travel to work, make your life a lot easier with transit and stuff like that, the house that you live in to maybe reduce some of your current living expenses, not having to pay rent, so forth, whatever, right? The life-saving medical procedure that you need is all afforded to you because someone was willing to front you that money there and then. If you remove that incentive and actually penalize them for loaning you the money, knowing that they'll never give it back, they have no incentive to loan it to you whatsoever. So again, these are choices that you have to make yourself. But even with all that, let's say that you don't care about any of that stuff. How does this still affect you? Well, the military, for example, defending your borders, wars and stuff like that. But I know most people don't care about that. But they're also the same people that come in after a natural disaster, say an earthquake, tornado, hurricane, flood, all that sort of stuff. They're there to help rebuild infrastructure, search and rescue, get you set up in nice little tents, get some food there, et cetera, et cetera. The Postal Service is another example with the infrastructure with roads and bridges, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, any sort of public service where they provide infrastructure or maintain it will be completely gone. But I guess people don't think that far out anymore, and they should really be thinking about subscribing, liking, and sharing this video because at least I'll point out some of the consequences, and at least you'll be a little bit better informed. But if nothing else, just remember, just because you're a day trader doesn't mean you have to trade every single day.